Hooray!
Hello, I'm Joseph Mayberry.
And I'm Jeremy Edwards. And I'm Chandler Nadig, and this is our experiment.
What we're doing.
Often it is thought that AP students will do anything for a grade. Our experiment tests the idea that AP students would rather conform to erased test answers than attempt to answer a question by themselves, based on the number of points a test is worth.
The explanation!
For the following experiment, we have two conditions. One, whether or not the test is marked, and two, how many points the students think it's worth. When you combine these two conditions, you get a total of 6 treatments.
The test.
To test conformity, we created a general knowledge test with a series of 15 obscure trivia questions, like, what does a soldier keep in his frog? On half of the tests, we marked an incorrect answer, in this case, letter C, his ammunition. While the other tests were left unmarked, the blank tests were left as a control to account for random guessing in the results. In case you were wondering, the correct answer was D, his bayonet, for this question.
How we force people, obtain subjects.
To gain subjects for this experiment, we contacted 2 of the 3 AP English teachers because we needed at least 3 classes for our subject sample. We contacted Gillespie and Henry, both AP English teachers for the 12th grade. We asked them if they would be willing to participate in this experiment and give their students a quiz. They would tell the students that it was part of a trivia examination across the classes. One of the classes would be told that they would receive no points on it, and it would just be considered off the grade. Another class would be told that it would be around 5 points, similar to a homework assignment. And another would be told that it was around 20 points, somewhere in the area of a quiz. By comparing the results across the classes, we would be able to determine the amount of conformity based on points from across the classes.
Conducting the experiment.
We gave the tests to the teachers, instructing them to have their students take the tests in complete silence. The students took the tests, and then we collected the answer sheets back from the teachers for grading analysis.
Bias.
To eliminate non-response bias, we required the students to take the test in a classroom setting. The incentive of points is a part of the test, so response bias is not a factor. There's a slim possibility of undercoverage because we tested only AP English students and not all AP students. Since the students did not have a choice in taking the test, there is no voluntary response bias. This was a single-blinded experiment because the students didn't know about their treatment. It was not double-blind because we were aware of the conditions set upon each class.
Results and conclusion.
After we collected the data, we made 2 graphs. The first that you now see is a comparison between Test A, the unmarked test, and Test B, the marked test, and the amount of conformed answers that were chosen on each. Now, as you can see, Test A had roughly 36.67% of the conformed answers picked, while Test B had over 55%. This allows us to say that the results were not independent. It was obvious that those who took Test B had more of an inclination to choose those answers, which means we can take away the idea that they could have achieved these results by random guessing. What you are now seeing are our actual results across all 3 classes: the 0-point class, the 5-point class, and the 20-point class. And as you can see, conformity was not independent of how many points. As the point rate got higher, so did the amount of conformity. What can we learn from this? Well, we can learn that maybe those theories about students being willing to do anything for a grade might have some truth in them. As we can see here, students had no problem with taking answers from a test based on how many points it was worth. I think we can learn something from this. I would now like to say a thank you to Mr. Gillespie and Mr. Henry for allowing us to use their classes for this experiment, and we will now sign off, leaving you to think over our results.